On Love, X and Lies, Episode 2, Amos Ngahu and Judy Sheila. These guests on today's show talk about money and relationships.
My side, we have a barrier or an event and we are contributing. You are against it because you feel like we are spending too money, but on your side, you're not feeling it.
How do partners handle financial differences?
So we can have basic rules of saying if it's nuclear, if it's our brothers who have an event, we give 5,000 or 10,000. If it's way an extended person, it's 2,000. So that there is basic agreement. It's basically like a budget.
How do they maintain transparency and open communication about money?
You have 2 guys, 3 guys. Huyu ni wa kucha,
Huyu ni wa entertainment, huyu ni wa klabu.
When even these young men know, what is it doing to them? You guys cheating, but you're there opening up your account to this person. That's why I keep on saying it's a level of trust.
Yeah. And are joint accounts really necessary?
Joint account is not the target. The target is doing things in agreement, like I said earlier.
I do not advocate on joint accounts. I advocate on futuristic plans where I know the next 5 years, I want us to build a house. I want us to have a car. I want our house to be furnished in a certain way.
Welcome to Episode 2 of Love, X and Lies. Niko na swali moja before we get into everything. Would you share with your partner how much you earn?
Myself?
Yeah, like the figure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Hakuna venye utajificha. Ama
if
mwambie what is there, but
even if you try to hide you're not protecting yourself, because if I put everything on the table and you're able to see everything, so we will plan together, so there won't be any unrealistic expectations.
Okay. How about you, Judy? Would you share?
I don't mind sharing.
You don't mind?
Yes.
Okay, mi na mind sana.
Okay.
Kwa sababu nikimwambia sasa itakuwa okay, sasa simudhani si yako na kado mahali, si yeye atafanya X and Y Z, but I don't want to be in that situation. Allow him to just be the man
I think
in the relationship.
It comes with discipline, because I do say finances begin at the dating phase. Yes, because by the time I'm opening up to a man about what I'm earning, it's because there's so much trust, there's so much commitment to it. So from day one, I need to know who is this man and where are we at. Haiwezi kuwa wiki ya kwanza na nakwambia this is what I'm earning.
Okay.
So it's a process of trust for me to open up with the person.
Got you. We also went to the streets and asked a few questions about money in relation to couples, right? Let's get into it. Pengine una date chali fulani, alafu unakubaliana na historia akutumie pesa za nywele, akutumie pesa za kucha kila mwezi.
Hapana, Queen is my father.
I am a different character, so of course I deserve that kind of treatment every month. Not even every month, every day.
Hawezi, there's no need now ati wewe unadala njaa because your girl is getting her nails done.
If it's he's okay with giving me the money, mimi nani nikatae?
Unampe doko umemuoa. Si ati unampe monthly allowance, unape tu mokoro wako.
Unakubaliana na hiyo story ya joint account, yani tukue na account moja mimi na wewe?
Kuna prenup? That's the first question.
Mimi niko na mpoa, lakini hapo kwa kushare kwa joint account bado nakwambia kama umemuoa ndo mnaweka joint.
Okay, kwa marriage for like 3 years ndo kuwe sure that is the partner unataka kuwa na yeye.
So unajua tukiwa na joint unajua naweza kuwa na kudanganya mara sijui sister yangu ni mgonjwa, ashatoa doa hapo na ujue atashinda tu akikupima.
What do you think would make you argue over money?
Na mademu wengi wenyewe jam wenyewe wana kakitu. Mdema kona kitu hizi pata na jam.
Could be jealousy, honestly. Especially, hey, you know the guys are sometimes. Maybe like your baby got a nice promotion, she's making some nice chapa. You are there, you've been just fighting your boss, even for something small.
Unaona udema ameenda huko amepelekwa restaurant fulani, wewe unakuja unasumbua chali yako hapo unataka upelekwe huko.
How would you create an open space for communication when it comes to money?
For me and my man, we are a team and we have that openness in the relationship.
You know, you can never, there's no way no one should ever expect you to wake up at now you can talk about bonds na stocks. Now you can talk about making money. No, you have to start from somewhere, genuinely.
It would start with like you guys just being honest with each other about other things.
Usilose focus ukijaribu kufurahisha wapoa. Mpoa anaweza kutoka any time na kunanga mpoa mtu ni tantu yako kukua hapo.
Usiwahi penda mtu juu ya pesa ama upende mtu ati juu ako na pesa. We kama maisha yako unapenda mtu, we mpende na usije compare na wase wengine.
And you also need to be real with your partner. You need to be shameless. You need to say, I am broke. I don't have this and that. Please help me.
Love comes first. Money itakuja baadaye.
Right, so what we've just seen, what are your initial reactions? What stood out for you? Let's start with Judy.
Prenup. And then dem joint account, alafu huyo amesema kama hajaoa dem yeye atambui hiyo story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Amos? What stood out for you?
I think what has come out very clearly is I hold classes every month. Yes, sign up. And one of the things that I'm passionate about when it comes to money is money cultures. So from the conversations all of them have had, they've made comments based on what they've seen or what they've grown with. And without knowing, we adopt certain cultures. A very simple culture we have is like borrowing. You'll find someone is struggling today with digital loans, but when you look back when they were growing up, this person was like, Modoni, go to Mama so-and-so's shop, pick this and this and this.
Mwambie nitaleta kesho.
Yeah. So what are you learning as a child? That it is okay to borrow just because you can borrow for consumption. So someone has picked up that culture.
Yeah.
So when you see these young men and these young ladies, when you hear someone say, it is okay, I'll receive the money from my boyfriend, it's a culture that is there, they have adopted it. Okay? And when you see a man saying, I cannot send money, it's a culture they've grown up with. One of the things I tell people is we have to appreciate culture and handle it from where it is. So if realistically you feel like you cannot send money until you're married to this person, have an agreement with this person. I like what she shared. Conversations about money should start right at dating. And in a very simple way. I'm not planning to show you my payslip on the first date, isn't it?
Yeah.
But can we agree, I'm thinking of taking this relationship seriously. Are you? So as a man, if I'm working, I'll tell you I can allocate this amount of money to buying a coffee or something. Can I give it to you? Because you seem to be better at planning events. What am I doing? I'm teaching you a sense of ownership. You're owning it. So even while you're planning for it, you'll be having in mind a certain budget. At some point, you'll feel like, let me also chip in. So that now it is budgeted for. Those are very easy man conversations as you advance.
Yeah.
Now from there, you're able to say, okay, what are you thinking? What do you plan to, what are your goals? Do you plan to own a home? Or do you plan to have rentals that we can live and afford anywhere? So that now you're dreaming with this person. And the dreams, when you talk about financial success, it starts with dreaming. So that if you're compatible, then you can be able to start a journey slowly by slowly. But now the issue of whether if now I'm dating and you're asking me about joint account, they are either neither here nor there. You get, because it's a complicated thing.
Yes.
In fact, I tell couples, doing things together is not as important as doing things in agreement.
True.
Because you could be pushed to open a joint account, then what? You're not in agreement with whatever we are doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it starts with dreaming, it starts with simple things, a sense of responsibility on the little money that we make. We cover each other. And naturally, I must say this for men, naturally it really feels nice for us to provide.
Okay, hold that thought, because we're going to get in there. What stood out for me was this thing for money for hair, money for nails, where it's a couple, and I was asking them, where unatumiwa pesa ya nywele, pesa ya kucha every other month, right? I'd like Judy tuambie hiyo kitu. Ilitoka wapi? Because he said something about culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I agree with Ngahu. It goes all back. And again, maybe this is a young person, you're dating, you're students here, and it all starts from our homes. Even how our parents treat our mothers. Yeah. I've seen how young men, they're responsible because of their dads. So you find there's a young man anatumiwa like 5 Gs, and he doesn't mind to tell the girlfriend, we go for lunch. Even away from the kucha, it flows. Yeah? And then there's lack of that responsibility. Your guy is cheating. Yeah? Your guy is cheating, but you're there opening up your account to this person. That's why I keep on saying it's a level of trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ngahu has said it so well. It goes, it's a culture that is built pole pole. And that's why unapata, even married men, they're not comfortable to maybe kutuma pesa ya salon ya bibi yake anashindwa. Hii ni kazi gani tena?
Na siwe uko na pesa yako, si
yes,
ujilipie.
exactly. And then Ngahu has also said, again, culture goes back, yeah? If you're used to a certain way of your parents behaving, trust you me. For me, I can say it comfortably. My finances come from how I grew up. So I totally agree with what Ngahu is saying.
Okay, so.
Iya makucha, bede ni flow. If you feel you want to treat your lady, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now pia kuna aka kaukora kamekuja, honestly. You have 2 guys, 3 guys. Huyu ni wa kucha.
Huyu ni wa entertainment. Huyu ni wa klabu.
When even these young men know what is it doing to them, they're going to hold back and say, how can I trust? I watched another movie, but in fact, the other day, and what's the name of that movie? Nimesahau. And that guy, I was so, at the end, I knew atacha wodem. Akakadem kameenda campus, the life is there, she's from a poor family, and then amepata sponsor. And she's very unaware, by the way. Yeah, it's the poverty from home that is driving her. This guy ako. Ilianza tu, in fact, if I say the word, people will just have an idea of the movie Crayfish. For anyone who's watched that movie. So this guy anambia, msichana, you're a flower, I can give you everything. And then the boyfriend, the other side, ameuza gari, ndio udem amlipie, imagine fee ya shule university.
Yeah.
But there, on the other hand, this lady is enjoying some money from
the sponsor.
Yeah. So at times, when this guy discovered, in fact, ile siku alijua is the day now he's empowered, he has money, ameleta gari. Surprise! That's when now he meets the sponsor and the chick. How do you expect that guy to, moving on, even trust another woman to say, I'm going to
send something small,
something for
treat
this.
yourself?
Yes. So there's a certain conditioning, yeah? Away even from where we come from, there's a certain conditioning that at times put us in certain situations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amos, what would you? How do you feel about that? For a woman to have you as the boyfriend, and then now there's another guy for kucha and nails and all these other expenses.
But it's
because it's something that's happening right now. See, we can't be blind to that.
But you see, now there has to be someone is being used. You see, there's no man who will stay with a woman. He knows there's another man, so he's with her for a certain reason. And I don't believe we can call that a relationship. These are the things that people are engaging themselves that over time they will end up regretting. But without digressing, if we can talk about relationships, like are targeted towards marriage, long-term relationships, then that way we can have proper strategies. But these are the ones you cannot even try to make something immoral and try to apply good morals or good values, because it will
tunaipaka mafuta.
It will end up messing people, because how do you tell a lady she has, like you're saying, she has several dockets that are funded by a different sponsor? In fact, if anything, you should tell her to stay safe. That's the only advice you can give them. Because you never know who will show up, And it's important that we also, because I was gonna apply the basic principles of some of these things. Like one, if you're dating someone, everybody will want to go out with their girlfriends. I want to hang out with my boys. Sometimes in the end goal, we can actually say, there's a certain allocation that each one of us gets that I will not ask you how you spend that money. Especially if it's a good relationship or it's in a marriage, that we say we have basic rules in finances. There are certain amounts you will not spend, even if it's your money, without us having a conversation. So that I'm not feeling like every time my side, we have a barrier or an event and we are contributing, you're against it because you feel like we are spending too money. But on your side, you're not feeling it. So we can have basic rules of saying if it's nuclear, if it's our brothers who have an event, we give 5,000 or 10,000. If it's way an extended person, it's 2,000. So that there is basic agreement. It's basically like a budget. You know the way the government will read the budget every year in June. Let's have some basic agreements. Okay. What people also need to understand that there are also losses. Times come when there are losses. Someone has lost a job. Can we agree in advance?
That's a very good
Yes.
conversation.
Can we agree in
Yeah.
advance? We learn how to handle losses.
Yes.
So if I lose my job and I'm the breadwinner and your income may not be able to sustain the housing, the vehicles, can we agree without thinking about it? We can scale down without thinking.
Okay, but you see, when you say that, you make it sound like a very utopia kind of relationship, because ideally we will differ. We will sema, mi mamangu amenitisha such and such amount of money na tunataka tumtumie. From which account? Am I using this as my own account? From our account?
It should never be. Let me
Please, Judy.
It should never be about from whose account. And I've loved the way Ngahu has defined the different types of relationship. Yeah, you're two people. This is a union. You're an actual couple. Yeah. Let me not lie to you. Actual couples, you don't even know from which account it's coming from. And the moment you come to see it's coming from a certain account, then you're on the wrong foot.
Really?
Yeah, I'm talking out of personal experience.
And it starts with having, you see, one of the things I've come to understand is that all of us have come up with our own money cultures. And I'm meeting someone from a different culture. A case in point. I've grown up to a point whereby you are being sent to school and your dad would tell you, I'll talk to the teacher. He hasn't paid fees. He'll remember you 2 weeks later when you've been kicked out because of fees.
True.
Okay? Then you marry someone whose school fees was paid annually.
What?
So when times are hard,
Imagine,
it's very easy for you to feel like I'm not moved, especially men. You've heard of the concept of when a lady's car, when it's half tank, what does a lady say? I need to refuel.
Yes.
Half tank. But when a guy's car is on E and the light is on, the car orange light.
Yeah.
Anasema, it's okay.
I know my car.
Okay.
You get.
I know my
these
car.
are two
Okay.
different people.
Yes.
For me, I tell people, before you even talk about actual money, can you subscribe to something? Go to a class together. Understand this person has this culture. So when they say it is okay, I don't have to remind him every 6 years.
So what you're trying to say, how to handle different financial priorities
Exactly.
is first of all, go to class.
Yes, go to class, even subscribe to a talk, channels, they are all over. I'm not the only one who offers that.
Yeah.
And you're able to understand that this person, just like the way you know this question of when people are dating, what's your favorite color? And there's this love language. People have invested in that. I want to know her love language as we are dating, isn't it? There's a money language. There's a money culture. So that I understand, even if we are going into this, I know Amos is a spender, Modoni is the holder. So chances are, I cannot be holding the ATM for our account.
Okay.
Are we together? We can agree that for me, I need 30,000 for fuel, 20,000 for lunch. Every month I need my 50K. So once we do that and we agree, it is easier. In fact, if you give me my 50K, you've set me free from answering questions. Why did I overspend?
Ulikuwa wapi? Umefanya nini na hiyo pesa?
You understand?
Wewe kishida kila time una
Yes. When it comes now to investments, I'm more exposed. So that way we can sit down and tell you we can invest here, because now holders take forever to even release the money. Are we together? Once we understand that, it will be so easy for me to know that I am so set free. Hata nikitumia 50,000 yangu, I know I can do my side hustles without affecting my family. The other thing, and which is quite important, is when you're dating this person or when you're in marriage, please understand that the money you're earning is not meant for other people. And I'd like women to understand the curse that we got after Eden. Women were told to go, they will go through pain, right? In childbearing. But for men, we are to till the land. If an environment is created that I'll tell you today, there is no man who does not love providing for their family.
Okay.
If anything, it gives us a lot of satisfaction. None now takes us to the loss. Now, when we are unable, it breaks us. You understand? And that is why now also you need to understand when your man is broke, he may look sick. He becomes what we call a money avoider. There are no conversations about money he wants to read.
Yeah.
But now, at what environment can he survive so that he is able to go back? But most of the men now will retire to fate based on the environment. And now, if the lady is much better, most men will now sit back and wait for the woman to provide. Okay?
So what I've gotten from what you've said is, first of all, understand your partner's money language. And I feel like that's so very crucial, because I've never thought about it like that. What about you, Judy? Have you ever thought about it like that?
I think for me, it's again going back, and I guess I took so much of learnings from where I come from my parents, finances, and one thing that I learned when growing up is what finances can do to a relationship. So I had to work on it, and I cannot lie to you. There's an element, there's something that Ngahu has brought up, and most Kenyans, we don't have it, yeah? And maybe in Africa, financial expertise. Do we go to financial places and get experts like Ngahu, where you say, we've been married for 5 years, this is what we are planning to do, and you're advised, even away from watching clips and stuff, yeah? These places are there, and I can't lie to you. I do say people need to embrace it. So when it comes to the money love language, it's a matter of learnings. I don't want to do what I saw being done. I also observe what other couples are doing. And at times tunajifanyanga, but tunajonga tu mtu mahali anakucheza, but you don't want to work on it.
Yeah, I love what you said about budgeting and saving and something like that. And I'd like us to now get into that. As a couple, how do we approach, first of all, investments? How do we approach budgeting? How do we approach saving, right? Is it a matter of, tunajua Judy earns X amount of money, Amos earns X amount of money. So from this amount of money, now let's budget it, we save it, we do together. We have a conversation. Is that how it's done? Ama kila mtu kivyake?
There are basic principles that guide that. And one of them is openness. The moment I tell you, let's say I was coming here, I was a bit late, but I called you, I told you what? I'll be 15 minutes late. Already, it gives you expectations of if you're hiring something, you have 15 more minutes for the sake of your own planning. So I keep telling people in marriages and in relationships, when you're peeling peanuts for a blind man, it is important to whistle.
Hey, actually, when you're
peeling peanuts.
When you're peeling peanuts for blind men, you should whistle.
Whistle.
How so?
So that they don't think you're eating their peanuts.
Gay.
And that's
Okay.
a basic concept of finances. Let me tell you something. There's this, he's a retired guy right now, but he married young. And when he got married, the wife was still in school. So she would wonder, because he was a banker, she would wonder, why aren't you providing this and this and this? And then he used to be posted out. One time he decided to tell the wife, listen, those days it was a signatory. Yeah? So when I'm away, money will still come in. My expenses are paid for. You pay bills, you manage the money the way it is. And when he came back after 3 months, he told me he could not believe the conversation she was having with him. But how do you manage such little finances to support us? Because they had a young baby. Then the guy realized, okay, for those 3 months, I was not bothered about her asking for money. She's managing it. And over time, the guy would tell her, I just need X amount of money for my fuel and to go to work. You continue managing the rest. So as promotion came, they planned, she went back to school, all the way to PhD. He retired 10 years earlier than she did. But you remember the allowance that she used to give him, even as much as he's getting his own pension, she always makes sure he has his allowance to go to the club, to go to the stuff. And he tells me, all those years he's worked, he's never been so free. Because he will never be asked about overspending.
Pesa, yeah.
Everything is open. So if we can be able to get to that level, and I know most of us have not gotten there, because we've had childhood traumas. You've always seen your father getting away with so much crime, he has so many things, so you have trauma. We have to at least have some sort of agreement, so that you're not always feeling that you see your wife's call and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, pesa ya uji.
Yeah. And what normally happens, even when it comes to something like money personalities,
Yes.
you'll find men, when they are with fellow men, we are very generous, so we are spenders.
Mm.
But if you did shopping, let's say last week, and it's at the end of the month, and probably you did shopping at the end of the month, 10 days later, there's too much month at the end of the month. Yeah? So now she calls you forgot diapers, and you're up in arms.
Yeah.
The problem is not the diapers. The problem is you don't trust your partner. You feel like they're not proper planners. And that's why I tell people, make money conversations very easy. Okay? Let's talk about our retirement. I keep telling men that lack of retirement will hit them harder than it will hit women. Ask me why.
Why?
It is very easy for you ladies when your son or your daughter gets a baby and you're a grandmother, you can go there and stay there for 2 weeks and help out, isn't it? But guess what? I can't do that. Men will not go to their children and spend
the night or something. Yeah.
Because naturally we are territorial. We will not abandon our kingdoms. And that is why we need cash flow. So as you have a conversation with your woman, yes, you need a home, isn't it? But can we not rely on our children and have cash flow?
Yes.
Okay? Can we look at these bonds, these infrastructure bonds for 25 years? Because now, if I am 40, 25 years, I'll be 65. Can I start investing so that there's cash flow every month so that we are not relying on our kids? So these are simple conversations that are underrated, actually. We want to compare ourselves with what she's driving, what you're wearing. We want to compare. But the main conversations, we are not having them. So I wish we would be able to create something that we give our viewers that start on this conversation. How do you
That's
find
actually my
that
next
possible?
question for creating transparency, creating an open communication. Because ideally, venye tu Judy alikuwa amesema mwanzo tukianza, we can't just start talking about bonds when we are married. We can start the conversation when we are dating. And then
If not even bonds, you'll find there are people who are already married. Money conversations can never be held in that house.
Imagine.
Everybody has said, me, I'm paying rent, that's it.
Yeah.
Me, I'm taking care of food, that's it.
Yeah, we unalipa
You
mtu wa kazi.
understand? Yes.
nini.
So can we start having that
It
conversation?
it lacks accountability, and that's when Anga who said that's where pesa inapoteleanga. By the way,
Wait, so okay, kuna kitu sielewi. Mnasema we need to have the conversation. But then Judy has her own money. Amos has his own money. Are we opening a joint account so that we can know where all this money is? What is happening to this money?
I do not advocate on joint accounts. I advocate on, there's a question you ask, how do you plan? I advocate on futuristic plans where I know the next 5 years, I want us to build a house. I want us to have a car. I want our house to be furnished in a certain way. You see, so if you're earning 100K and this person is earning 50K, you know this is what we have together. And that's why the openness of knowing what is Ngahu earning, what is this other person earning, that is how it supports the futuristic plans. Because
And
you see, this plan is going to make sure that when your brother anakwambia, hey, you know, my son is stuck, we need 20K. I'm going to, if I don't know what he's earning, if I don't know, if even himself, there are no goals, he's going to easily give it out. Ju, it's my money. There's nothing you can do. After the wife will never know that such an amount of money was given out. Yes.
Okay.
You see, I actually agree. Joint account is not the target. The target is doing things in agreement, like I said earlier. Take, for instance, a child who knows how to manipulate parents. Okay? They will know that daddy can buy me anything I want. So they will go, instead of going to, when they ask mommy, she says no, they will go to daddy.
Yeah.
And daddy will be like, okay, let's go. But what if the dad was like, what did mommy say? Do you understand?
Okay, now I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
So what will happen when you're divided in finances, it becomes very easy. You see, when these two cups are apart, it becomes very easy for anything to come against
Asanda.
Yeah. I was dealing with a couple and they were in disagreement and they sold property. And once they sold the property, the guy made some decisions alone. And then the second property, when it was being sold, the wife was so emotional about it because there was no communication prior to the first sale. So on the second sale, she said, I'm not signing consent, money should come to my. Then the guy had taken a loan from a certain place. So when she went there, because she did not consult on how much the loan, she knows there's a loan there, but she actually ended up paying 320,000, but the actual loan was 120,000. Why? Because now the guys understood they are not talking with the husband. So we can actually take advantage. And what happens? She needed the title so that she can get more money from it. Are we together? So this is what I'm trying to say. The small things that we don't agree over will actually save us from a lot. And that's why I'm saying, let's do things in agreement. It starts from dreaming. Money will come and go. You understand? I am from that school of thought that I've gone through all the seasons where you're extremely broke. You feel like you've hit rock bottom. Then you realize rock bottom is on a basement.
Yeah.
You understand?
Hey,
and
yeah.
you have to recover, and you've learned so many lessons. So I keep telling people, start in agreement. Okay? Even if you've not been having a conversation with your partner about money, this would be a good video to put on randomly when they're around.
Yeah.
Okay? Money and couples. Okay? Okay, so they'll be like, what do you think? Okay, we may not do a joint account together. We may not have our goals, but as a man, I feel like I bought this piece of land and this is the goals I have. And then she'll be like, okay, I was about to buy another one. Okay, why don't we build this one? Because I can access the money. Once we build, because we know you need to return your loan and you need to return your loan. Instead of living in it, can we sell it at market price? We've doubled our money. So you see now, these are goals that exchange of ideas will actually help you fast track your goals. But if you're doing your own thing over here, and she's doing her own thing over here, men could be doing very noble things, but they're actually winking at a girl in the dark. They're the only ones who know what they're doing.
Let me even add on to something which people miss. Yeah, the other day there was so much of unclaimed assets.
Yeah.
And that's where it all begins, because unclaimed assets come, ukona ka account umeficha. Then by the end of the day, what both parents forget, men and women, it's your kids who suffer. Yeah. Because death comes. That's something that people also forget. So if you're not in that agreement, there's so much money in accounts by each and every year that
goes unclaimed.
Nashindwa, ni nani wenye hii pesa. Then again, we have orphans who are suffering. Hey, you guys. By the way, I feel we need to have an agreement. Yeah, there's that feeling of akijua. Yeah, I don't know how people are going to work it out, but I think for me personally, it's something that pains me so much, because I've seen kids who suffer. They're from well-off families. Parents get into accidents, ama they lose the breadwinner, most of the time being the father. This man alikuwa na so much of property, but what happens to these kids? I think that's one thing that I can emphasize on.
Yeah.
People don't look at the future. People just see upper two sides.
Alafu kuna kitu umesema very important about hiding ama these unclaimed assets. I'd like us to get into misconceptions ama the challenges about being open with your partner. So for instance, as I've also had those stories of a man who was a big tycoon while he was alive, but his wife doesn't know all these assets. Kuna zile anajua, alafu kuna zile bibi wa pili anajua, na alafu kuna zile watoto wengine wanajua, you know. Ama upon death is when now, you know, there's a will that we didn't even know about. So I'd like us to talk about the misconceptions. So if I let you in on what I am, Amos, if you let me in on what you earn, is there something I'm losing? Is there something you're losing? Because African men have that thing, and I'm sorry for making it a blanket statement, but most African men have a challenge when it comes to being open about finances with their wives or with their significant others. Is it an ego thing? Nisipokuambia niko na shamba mahali Diani,